Hi guys, I welcome you to another episode of what we do here at Washire Studio. As you can see, today I am not alone. I've got company. You all well know, I'm sure, that I am a big fan or a big friend of the Orisa. And so today I have just decided to seize the opportunity that this day presents to talk about the Orisa and to educate us on one or two things regarding the Irumole. There are so many things that are misunderstood about the Orisa, and that is due to the demonization, the very systemic demonization that has been going on for centuries now. But thank goodness, many of us are now being reawakened. We are now being more conscious. And that is another reason why I think this episode is very important. Today, I'll be killing two birds with one stone. More than two birds, actually. I'll be killing as many birds as possible with one stone. When you observe these statues right in front of me, this Orisa, you would see that you really can't place the gender of many of them. I will get into the details of that very soon. But a few weeks ago, when I got a Babalawo to discuss Ifa's position on homosexuality, a few people made very disturbing comments, especially from the gay community. Someone made a comment that even in the world of the Yoruba Orisa, homosexuality is supported. And you know the person's reason? The reason he gave was that some of the Orisa are a combination of both genders. Now I will be debunking that claim, and I also will be explaining why some of our Orisa are presented as a combination of male and female. Now, before I proceed, we have abundantly made it clear, especially in that video, that Ifa never discriminates against gay people. Ifa does not hate homosexuals. But let us not take it as far as claiming that Ifa endorses homosexuality. Homosexuality, that Babalawo made it clear in that video, is not supported by the Yoruba culture, especially as it was handed over to us. So we stay with that, but that is not an excuse to treat homosexuals with contempt. All that is by the way. We'll be talking about it a lot more very soon in another series, but that one is not now. For now, we want to talk about the androgynous nature of the Yoruba Orisa. And by that, I mean, why are some of the Orisa presented as being a combination of both the male and the female gender? Or sex, actually. That word is better preferred because we have established also that the Yoruba does not do gender. Now, syncretism is a big influence on the Yoruba ideology in generality. We, the Yoruba, have an ideology of synergies, and that is very represented or portrayed in our Orisa. Look at the statues in front of me right now, for instance. This is Ajere Ifa, what some people also call Agere Ifa, and it is also called Opon Ifa actually. But what is most popularly called Opon Ifa today is the divination tree, the divination board, which I like to call the divination tablet. Ori Ìyẹn láti máa ń tẹ Ifá, the one I used in that video where I explained the use of Okpele and Ikin Ifa. But this one is Ajere Ifa. I also briefly talked about it in that video of Okpele and Ikin Ifa, the one we did in the J. Randu Museum. What is the use of this Ajere Ifa? Nínú eléyìí la máa ń kó Ikin Ifa sí. It is the divination bowl, the sacred place where we put the sacred Ifa palm nuts. This is the bowl placed on this figure of a woman, and inside it we put the Ikin Ifa. But why is the body the figure of a woman? Well, that is what we are here to talk about today. This one right here is Iroke Ifa. It is the divination tapal. Òun náà ni wọ́n máa ń kì báyìí wípé òkè ṣe ribiti. Ṣorí ṣóńṣó. This is the ribiti and this is the ṣóńṣó. Inside it, there is something in it that makes it jingle like this. It is believed, or we know that, especially Babalawos, Ifa priests, when calling on Ifa, the Babalawo jingles it like this, and he also uses the top to tap the divination tray, the Opon Ifa, and that is believed to induce Ifa into a listening mode. But also, this is the symbol of a Babalawo. When you see this in the hand of a person, you know that that is a Babalawo. Just as when you see this in the hand of a person, you know that that person belongs to Sango. Now, Sango is male. Ọkùnrin ni Sango, the Orisa of thunder and lightning, the Orisa of electricity and anything fire generally. So if Sango is male, why is the body here that of a female? Again, exercise some patience. That is why we are here today. Also note that this Iroke Ifa actually also has the body of a female. Not all Iroke Ifa are like this, and I must say that also for Ose Sango. What this is called is Ose Sango. I will be telling you the story of this one in another video entirely. This Iroke Ifa is not always like this. It's not every time that it has the body of a woman, but most of the time it has the body of a kneeling woman. Sometimes the woman actually carries an ebo in her hands. Why is all of that? I actually will be doing another video for Iroke Ifa separately, but today I'll be explaining the reason for the woman figure on the Iroke Ifa, because Ifa is a male Orisha. Orunmila is male and is described as Baba Kukuru Keigeti. So if Orunmila is male, why do we have his symbols having the bodies of females? The Iroke Ifa, the Ajiri Ifa, and so many other symbols of Orunmila. This one right here is Osun. Osun is female, so there is no argument concerning the look of this one. Osun is the Yoruba Orisha of beauty and fertility and motherhood. Actually, the Yoruba principal Orisha that gives children, which is why she is called Olomoyoyo. In other representations of her, you will find her surrounded by children, and that one can also be used as a symbol of Egbe, another story for another day. But you see this Osun sitting majestically with a very flamboyant and elaborate hairstyle and breastfeeding a child. This represents her as an Alabiamo. And again, there is no fusion of gender or sex in this one. Osun is female, and what we are looking at here is obviously the figure of a woman. This one here is the Bata drum, Sango's favorite, and it is here because we are talking about Sango. This here is representing Orisha Sango, and wherever you see Sango, you must see Bata. They too have a very rich story, which time will not allow us to go into today. Ṣùgbọ́n gẹ́gẹ́ bí Ifá ṣe sọ fún wa, Bata òun ni àyànfẹ́ Sango. Àwọn méjèèjì bí ìgbín àti karahun ni wọ́n jẹ rí. Now this staff right here is Opa Osun. I added it to the list of the Orisha displayed here because there is a direct link between these figures, these bird figures right here, and the women that we have engraved in the symbols of the Orisha in front of me. What is that link? Now, when it comes to Yoruba spirituality, it is built on balance and equilibrium. What I'm about to say now is actually very deep, as simple as it may sound. When something is androgynous, it means that one thing contains the sex organs of both genders or both sexes. This Sango is male, for instance, but here we are seeing the combination of male and female energies. That is a great representation of Yoruba spirituality. That is why our king in Yoruba land is called Ikubaba Yeye. One person who is usually a male is called Baba Yeye, because in his position as an Alashe Ikeji Orisha, he is a combination of both energies. We say that Tibitire Ladali Aye. That statement is not always about good and evil. It is also about the unity of opposites. Every human being is a combination of both energies, both the female and the male energies, even though one can be more dominant. This is what we mean by bipolar complementarity. Our spirituality is based on the fact that before life can be produced, the female and the male energies must first meet, must first combine. But even more than that, in Yoruba spirituality, it is believed that the female energy is actually more potent than the male energy. In fact, we believe that àwọn obìnrin ni Olódùmarè gbélé ayé lé lọ́wọ́. There is no way we can talk about a male Orisha without eventually having to allude to their female energies, and that is why they are represented like this. This is Ifa, for instance. Yet we find a way to include the Yoruba concept of Ikunle Abiyamo in it, the kneeling position of a nursing mother. This is a mother in a kneeling position, and when you look at her back, you see that she has a baby strapped to her back. The Yoruba concept of Ikunle Abiyamo is a very deep and profound one. In fact, it is believed that if a woman invokes Ikunle Abiyamo to pray or curse a person, it is going to happen just as she has said. This same Ikunle Abiyamo concept is what we find even in the Ose of Sango and even in Iroke Ifa. The combination of the male and female energies in Yoruba land is all about representing or portraying the balance of life. It's not about homosexuality, please. But one of the reasons why we also always allude to the female energy is also as a way of paying homage to the mothers, the Yamis, the Aje, which is wrongly interpreted or translated as witch. But I have talked about that in an earlier video already, and I'll be doing so even more in the future. This This Orisa right here, Osun, is actually the olórí of àwọn àjẹ́ because she is an alábíamọ. Yorùbá sì gbàgbọ́ wípé gbogbo alábíamọ làjẹ́. That's how we say that gbogbo obìnrin làjẹ́. Also, there is another of our proverb that goes kàkà kó rọ̀ lára ìyá àjẹ́ ó fi gbogbo ọmọ bóbìnrin. Ẹyẹ wá ń yí lu ẹyẹ. Why ẹyẹ? It is so because that female power is represented by the bird. That is why the àjẹ́ are called ẹlẹ́yẹ. And when you look at the Adéṣẹ̀mbáyé of Yoruba kings, you will find a cluster of birds all around it. I have explained that also in an earlier video where I was talking about the Adéṣẹ̀mbáyé of the Aláàfin of Ọ̀yọ́. The link to that video will be provided in the description of this one. But that ẹlẹ́yẹ is why I said that the Opa Osun is linked to these ones you find here. Because when you look at the Opa Osun, on it are three major birds surrounded by a cluster of birds. A fi ìyẹn júbà àwọn ìyá mi ni, àwọn àjẹ́, àwọn tó ṣe wípé tá a bá fi tiwọn ṣe kò sóhun tá a fẹ́ ṣe tó máa gún régé. Ifá fọhùn nínú odù Ifá kan, ọ̀yẹ̀kún lọ́tún, òfún lósì, odù tá a tún mọ̀ sí Yàfókù. Ó ní Yàfókù ẹ̀dọ̀ kẹ̀rẹ̀. Babaláwo ẹlẹ́yẹ ló dífá fẹ́ lẹ́yẹ. Àwọn ni wọ́n tìkọ̀lé ọ̀run bọ̀ wálé ayé. Ẹbọ láwo ní kí wọ́n ó ṣe. Wọ́n gbẹ́bọ, wọ́n rúbọ, wọ́n gbèrú, wọ́n tèrú. Ǹjẹ́ ẹlẹ́yẹ aré ni kẹ́ ẹ bá wa ṣe, kẹ́ ẹ má mà bá wa jà. Ifá yẹn jẹ́ ká mọ̀ wípé kò sí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ ṣe nílé ayé, a gbọ́dọ̀ fi tàwọn ìyá mi ṣe. Àwọn ẹlẹ́yẹ, àwọn apanimá-wàágún, ajẹ̀dọ̀ tútù má bì, èyí tí ń lọ nígbà ọjà bá tú, arógbá aṣọ má balẹ̀, àwọn ìyá mi ò ṣòro mọ̀nìgà. That is why the Opa Osun, even though Ifa is male, actually pays homage to Aje, the female energy, the woman power. I have also talked about this Opa Osun in a separate video. I even explained the meaning of names linked to it. Names such as Dosumu and Amosun. The link to that video will be provided also in the description of this one. Do not forget that earlier I said that before life can be produced, the male and the female energy must first meet, and that is visibly seen in the sexual intercourse that happens before life can be produced, which is why sometimes in our statues of the Orisa, we even make the genitals visible. If you look at this Ibeji in front of me, you are going to see that the genitals is visible, the female genital, just as it is also visible in that of the male. It isn't because we are a vulgar people. These things serve spiritual purposes. There is an Ose Ifa that teaches us on the power of sexual intercourse. In Oyekumeji, Ifá yẹn sọ wípé ó yẹ pẹ́, ó bọ́ pọ́rọ́, adíá fún ọ̀yẹ̀lẹ̀ àkókò tí wọ́n ń pè lẹ́dìyẹ, èyí tí ń bímọ tirẹ̀ láì gbẹ̀bí. Ewé ọlọ́yẹ̀rẹ́ kì í jorúkọ mìíràn àfi ayùn rẹ̀. Yíyẹ̀ ní í ṣe ta bo, ẹ̀bọ̀ ní í ṣe ta kọ, yẹ̀dípẹ́, owó àbọ̀, ọmọ tuntun lèrè àyẹ̀bọ̀, àyẹ̀bọ̀ àdọ́mọ, bọ́kan ò yẹ̀, ọ̀kan ò lè rí bí, ládùn ládùn là ń bálé olóyin. I will be doing a breakdown of that very beautiful Ose Ifa in another video entirely, where I will also be delving into Ifa's perspective on sexual purity or premarital sex. Does Ifa have anything to say at all about that? Well, wait for it. But let me conclude with one of the birds I promised to be killing with one stone. Many non-Orisha people, many Christians or Muslims or followers of the Abrahamic religions say something very regularly, and that is, why should anybody who has sense be bowing down to sticks or to gods that cannot talk? Why should you be worshipping something that you created with your own hand? Now, that is another statement of ignorance. No Yoruba person actually worships the Orisa in that sense. A máa ń bọ Orisa ni, a kì í sin Orisa. There are differences in both expressions. The Yoruba recognize only Olódùmarè as Ọlọ́run. Olódùmarè là ń sìn, kò sí àsìnrìṣà, abọ̀rìṣà ló wà. Now, bíbọ Orisa has to be understood properly. The place where we bọ Orisa is called Ojúbọ, and that is not the same as Ibi Ìjọsìn. To bọ the Orisa simply means paying homage to certain principles represented by these figures. These are not the Orisa. These are not the Irumole. If an Olorisha is told to offer sacrifices to Osun, and that Olorisha brings the sacrifice in front of this statue here, is he expecting this statue to actually eat that sacrifice? They are not stupid people. When we say Orisha, Orisha in the Yoruba cosmology are a set of principles established by Olódùmarè for the governing of our physical world and spiritual as we know it. Àwọn ẹni tí Orisha dá là ń pè ní Orisha. iconic people who became deified after their death. We also have the ones we call irumole. Imole. The most important word there is actually imole. Some have argued that imole actually means omoile, that is, àwọn ọmọ tí Olódùmarè bí, the primordial beings, the primordial dwellers of this earth, the ones through whom Olódùmarè actually established this world. Àwọn irúnmọlẹ̀, irún ọmọ láti inú ilẹ̀, 1,000 children from the earth. These are the ones in the Yoruba creation story through whom Olódùmarè established the world, as I have said earlier. They are the spirits found in the valleys, in the mountains, in the rivers, in the air. That is why in the Yoruba spiritual world, all of these things, we actually pay homage to them. When things go wrong with our physical world, you can be told to go and offer a sacrifice to the land, offer a sacrifice to the mountain, to the river. And when we talk about Osun, Oya, Ogun, these are the things we are talking about. Sango, for instance, is the Yoruba understanding of the operatings of the thunder, the lightning, and Oya is the Yoruba understanding of that principle that guides the operating of the storm, the tornado, and tides, and tempest, and what have you. So that principle is what the Yoruba try to represent in these figures that you see here. These are not the actual spirits themselves, but symbols of them. And when they pay homage to this Orisa, it isn't actually them worshipping the Orisa. Everything that they do is symbolic, and is not unique to the Yoruba. It is found in almost every culture. It is found in the Bible. It is found in the Quran. Everything that they do is symbolic. What backs it is an understanding of the spiritual that they have, and these are the things that influences the practices that we see. So when you say that the Yoruba Orisa devotees worship a god that cannot talk, that is a false statement, because the Yoruba only recognize Olodumare as God, and this one you see here in front of me, they are not gods. It is the Western world that believe in the idea of a bigger god and a smaller god. In Yoruba land, we are very monotheistic. We believe only in the existence of Olodumare alone as God, and every other ones are actually Orisha. That is why nobody ever says in Yoruba language Olorun Kekere, and when we talk about Sango, you will not hear Olorun Ara. Ogun is not Olorun Irin. Osun is not Olorun Omi. They are Orisha. Olodumare, òun nìkan ni Ọlọ́run. In summary, I have been able to let you know that the fact that our Orisha have in them the figures of male and female at the same time is not a support of homosexuality. And we have also been able to talk about why our Orisha are actually androgynous. Some of them actually, not all of them. So many other things we have been able to touch on this video. If there are more things you'd like to learn, please let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching the video till this point. Do let us know if you find it very interesting and educating. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and to like this video, to share it aggressively so that it can reach more people also, and they may see what we do. Till we meet again, I leave you with the assurance of the fact that indeed, wa shiri.